All right, so you're a sales or revenue leader, and you keep hearing all this buzz about Dreamforce. Maybe you're even a little intimidated by this massive event, especially if it's your first time. We get it. It's a lot to take in, but no worries. That's why we're here today. I've got uh, I've got our Dreamforce guru here. We'll call him Ace, to break it all down and help you make Dreamforce work for you.
Hey there. You can call me Ace. And yeah, I've definitely been down that road feeling overwhelmed by Dreamforce, but I've learned a few tricks along the way to make the most of it, and I'm excited to share those with you.
And you know, Ace, you actually used a phrase in our prep notes that really resonated with me. You said something about Dreamforce feeling like drinking from a fire hose.
Absolutely. It's the perfect analogy. There's so much going on. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement and end up feeling lost and overloaded.
Exactly. And one of the articles we're diving into today, Top 5 Must-Do Activities at Dreamforce 2025 for Beginners. It really hits the nail on the head with that fire hose analogy. But they also give some great advice on how to avoid drowning in all the information and activities. The first tip they highlight is mastering the Salesforce Events app. They call it your lifeline for the event. And I totally get why.
Yeah, it's not just about browsing the schedule. Think of the app as your Dreamforce battle plan. Before you even set foot in San Francisco, use the app to build a personalized itinerary. Target sessions on specific Salesforce features that could solve your team's biggest pain points, like lead scoring or pipeline management. Don't just wander into random sessions. Be strategic.
So it's kind of like building a sales pipeline. But for your Dreamforce experience, you're qualifying the sessions that are most likely to close the deal in terms of giving you valuable insights.
I like that. Exactly. And while you're in the app, flag the speakers who are industry leaders in your space. Maybe they've written a book you loved or run a company you admire. This gives you a chance to hear their insights firsthand and maybe even connect with them afterward.
Speaking of connecting, the article also talks about those keynote sessions. Now, I'll be honest, I sometimes feel like keynotes can be a bit heavy on the hype and light on the substance, but the article argues that these keynotes can actually give you valuable insights into where the industry is heading. What do you think is?
I think it's all about perspective. Yes, there's a marketing element to the keynotes, but if you listen closely, you can pick up on crucial trends that will impact your business. Look for the announcements about new features and integrations. These can be game changers for your sales process and give you a competitive edge. For example, last year's keynote focused heavily on AI-powered sales tools. If you had paid attention then, you'd be ahead of the curve now as those tools become mainstream.
So it's not just about listening for the big announcements. It's about reading between the lines, understanding the implications of those announcements, and thinking about how they might translate into opportunities or challenges for your specific sales team.
Exactly. And to really maximize those keynote sessions, I recommend doing a little pre-event research. Check out the speaker bios, look at what they've been talking about online and in their recent presentations. That way, you'll go into the keynote with a better understanding of their perspective and the themes they're likely to focus on.
All right. So we've got our personalized agenda built in the app. We're strategically targeting keynote sessions that align with our goals, and we're doing our homework on the speakers. What's next on our Dreamforce checklist, Ace?
The expo hall. It's massive, and it's easy to get lost in the sea of booths. But here's the thing. The expo hall isn't just about collecting swag. It's a gold mine for discovering new solutions and vendors that can help you streamline your sales process, boost your revenue, and solve those nagging problems that keep you up at night.
Okay, I'm picturing myself in this massive expo hall. Where do I even begin? Should I just wander around and see what catches my eye? Or is there a more strategic approach?
Definitely be strategic. Remember, we're all about maximizing our time at Dreamforce. Before the event, make a list of the specific challenges you're facing in your sales or revenue operations. Maybe it's lead generation, forecasting accuracy, or sales enablement.
Right, those pain points we're trying to solve.
Exactly. Then use the app to search for vendors who offer solutions in those areas. Look for companies that integrate with the systems you already use. For instance, if you're a Salesforce shop, prioritize vendors who have a strong Salesforce integration. This can save you a ton of headaches down the road and make implementation much smoother.
That's a great tip. I'm already thinking about some of the integrations that would make our lives so much easier. And I love that you're emphasizing the importance of solving specific problems. It's not just about shiny new tools. It's about finding solutions that will actually move the needle for our business.
Absolutely. And speaking of moving the needle, don't miss the Salesforce campground in the expo hall. The article calls it a hands-on opportunity, and it's a great way to see Salesforce solutions in action.
Okay, so the campground is less about tents and campfires and more about getting hands-on with Salesforce.
Exactly. You can test drive new features, get personalized demos, and talk to Salesforce experts who can answer your questions. It's a great way to turn theory into practice and see how these solutions can actually work for your team. Plus, they usually have some fun interactive experiences and giveaways. Who doesn't love free swag?
All right, I'm sold on the campground, pre-event research, targeted booths, hands-on experiences. I'm starting to feel a lot more confident about navigating the expo hall. But let's be honest, Dreamforce isn't just about attending sessions and checking out demos. It's also about the connections you make, right? The article really emphasizes the importance of networking. And they even use that word investment.
They're spot on. Networking at Dreamforce is an investment in your professional growth and your company's success. But it's not just about collecting business cards. It's about building genuine relationships.
Okay, I hear you. But I'm not the most outgoing person. Networking events can feel a bit intimidating. Any tips for someone who's not exactly a social butterfly?
First off, don't put pressure on yourself to be the life of the party. Authentic connections often happen in smaller, more casual settings. Think quality over quantity. And remember, you already have something in common with everyone at Dreamforce. You're all passionate about Salesforce and improving your businesses.
That's a good point. It's like we're all part of the same tribe,
Mm.
even if we're from different companies.
Exactly. And here's a concrete tip. Before the event, identify 3 to 5 people or companies you really want to connect with. Maybe it's a potential partner, a thought leader you admire, or a company you can learn from. Do your research, understand their roles in their businesses, and then use the event as an opportunity to have meaningful conversations.
So it's almost like having a target list, but for networking instead of sales.
Precisely. And speaking of targeted networking, the article mentions Trailblazer community meetups as a great way to connect with like-minded professionals.
Okay. For those of us who are new to the Salesforce world, can you explain what these Trailblazer meetups are all about?
Think of them as mastermind groups for Salesforce pros. You'll find groups focused on specific industries, roles, or even Salesforce products. It's a chance to share best practices, learn from others' experiences, and get real-world tips that you won't find in the official sessions. Plus, it's a more relaxed and informal environment, which can make networking feel less daunting.
Sounds much less intimidating than trying to strike up conversations with strangers at a crowded happy hour.
Absolutely. And the best part is, you can often find these meetups listed in the Salesforce Events app, so you can plan ahead and choose the ones that align with your interests and goals.
Okay, so we've covered the serious stuff. Prep, keynotes, expo hall, targeted networking. But we can't talk about Dreamforce without mentioning the fun side, right? The parties, the concerts, the general buzz and excitement that fills the city.
You're right. Dreamforce is known for its epic after-hours events. We're talking Dreamfest, the legendary concert with world-renowned artists, plus countless parties and receptions hosted by Salesforce and its partners.
It sounds incredible and a little overwhelming, I'll be honest. I'm more comfortable in a boardroom than a concert venue. Any advice for navigating the after-hours scene?
Don't overthink it. The after-hours events are a chance to let loose, have fun, and connect with people on a more personal level. Remember, these are the same people you'll be interacting with in professional settings, so building rapport in a more relaxed environment can be incredibly valuable.
So, Ace, we've covered a ton of ground today. Everything from strategizing your session schedule to navigating the expo hall like a pro, and even embracing the after-hours scene.
It's all about maximizing your Dreamforce investment, right? You're dedicating time and resources to be there, so you want to make sure you're getting the most out of every minute.
Exactly. And I think we've given our listeners a solid roadmap to do just that. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways before we wrap up. First, use the Salesforce Events app like your personal Dreamforce command center. Plan your agenda strategically, targeting sessions and speakers that align with your specific goals and challenges.
Don't forget to research those speakers beforehand. Knowing their background and areas of expertise will make those sessions even more valuable.
Great point. Second, tackle the expo hall with a purpose. Identify the vendors and solutions that can address your most pressing business needs, and definitely make time for the Salesforce campground. It's a hands-on learning experience you won't want to miss.
Third, remember that networking is an investment, not just an activity. Go in with a plan. Target specific people or companies you want to connect with, and don't be afraid to strike up conversations. And those Trailblazer meetups, gold mines for practical tips and peer-to-peer learning.
And finally, don't underestimate the power of play. Embrace the after-hours scene. Build relationships in a more relaxed setting. And who knows, you might even find yourself chatting with Mark Benioff over a glass of wine.
Now that would be a story to tell back at the office.
Absolutely. But even if you don't meet Mark Benioff, The connections you make and the insights you gain at Dreamforce can have a ripple effect on your career and your company's success. It's an event that can truly transform your perspective and equip you with the knowledge and connections to drive real results.
So go in with an open mind, a willingness to learn, and a healthy dose of enthusiasm. Dreamforce is an experience unlike any other, and if you approach it strategically, it can be a game changer for your career.
Ace, this has been incredibly insightful. Thanks for sharing your Dreamforce wisdom with us today.
My pleasure. I'm always happy to help fellow trailblazers conquer Dreamforce and achieve their goals.
And to all of you listening, we hope this deep dive has equipped you to not just survive Dreamforce, but to truly thrive in the midst of all the excitement. Now go out there, make those connections, soak up the knowledge, and come back ready to crush your sales and revenue targets.